special city council meeting October 8th, 2019. Madam Clerk, pledge please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Asbill,
Present.
Councilman Buddy,
Present.
Councilman Chatelain,
Present.
Councilman Johnston,
Present.
Councilman Wheeler,
Present.
Mayor Bodier,
Present.
Police Chief Walker, Fire Chief St. Cyr,
Present.
Finance Director Todd Tunion,
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry is absent, and Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee present. And
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk.
2019 budget discussion.
Ready?
All right, we ready to go, Big Daddy? Let's lay it on us.
There we go. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, citizens. The purpose of the presentation here today is to just give a brief update on the financial activities of the city year-to-date through 2019. And so we had a few prepared comments. First, just to provide a general overview with a description of the different funds that the city maintains. So the city has a general fund, which is the main operating fund, which has all the primary revenues and the cost of services that the city provides. Secondly, the city maintains a sales tax fund. The sales tax fund is a special revenue fund that only records the sales tax receipts and then also records the transfer of those receipts to the general fund to fund the operations of the city. The city also maintains a capital projects fund, which is a separate fund, generally funded by the transfer of the video poker funds from the general fund to the capital projects fund. The city also has a debt service fund, which is the bond reserve fund, which is a required funds on deposit that the city has to maintain in accordance with the outstanding bonds that the city has. And then lastly, the city has the sewer fund, which is a proprietary fund, which includes the main operating fund, and there are several separate funds maintained in relation to the DEQ loan, reserve funds for the DEQ loan, that all roll up into the audit purposes into the sewer fund. So the city's annual budget for the general fund is approximately $6.3 million. The majority of the revenues consist of property taxes, sales taxes, franchise fees, video poker funds, licenses, court fines, and miscellaneous revenue. The significant expense categories that the city incurs, salaries and related expenses is the largest expense category, including hospitalization, health insurance for all the city employees, as well as the retirement match for the police department and the fire department. Other expenses include insurance, which includes general liability, directors and officers, auto, and some other policies, professional fees for engineers, accountants, consultants, attorneys, and utilities, Entergy, telephone, basic other office supplies needed to operate and the general functions of the city. The City Hall staff, working in conjunction with our finance team, has been active since January 1st, working on initial transition, the 2018 financial statement audit, changing financial institutions for the city, and now we're preparing for the year-end close process, the 2019 budget process, to prepare amendments to present to you for authorization and approval, as well as the 2020 budget process. So we've had an active year, and we'll still be active for the last few months of this year. So we've done what I would call a hard close on the August 31st numbers, or the income statement numbers through August 31st. What that means is we've recorded adjustments for accruals, accounts receivable for revenues maybe received in September and October, but were for activity in August. So we've recorded those receivables through August 31st. We've also recorded the expenses through August 31st. So we looked at the significant bills, the sanitation bill from the sanitation provider, the healthcare insurance bill, and the salaries and wages and others, and made sure that we had 8 months of expense in the numbers that were presented to you and to the public. So we had a few observations, again, still focused on the general fund for now, from the revenue and expense report as compared to budget, and so I'll walk through these briefly. The first is that sales tax receipts year-to-date through August are higher than budget and higher than prior year amounts. And the only way we can really verify that is through conversations with the tax collector. So we did talk to the tax collector this week, and he confirmed he's seeing the same thing. So that's a benefit for the city. He did give his disclaimer, as I'm sure he gets questions from all the municipalities, that sales tax activity for the 8 months is no guarantee of sales tax activity for the next 4 months. So we certainly need to keep that in mind. But year to date, it's certainly up, and we're projecting to be up through December 31st. Video poker funds year to date are about $20,000 higher than last year and higher than budget. One other item, occupational licenses and fees year to date are less than budget and prior year amounts. So that's one item that we do need to look into. We're about $40,000 to $45,000 through August, less than last year. So that's something that we do need to look into. The majority of the other revenue line items, property taxes, franchise fees, excise taxes, the beverage funds that the city gets, sanitation fees, are generally in line with amounts that were previously budgeted. So almost the kind of the $50,000 question is, where do you think we'll be at the end of the year, generally speaking? So while we still have 4 months of activity and 4 months of projections, we currently estimate that we'll meet or exceed the budgeted increase of $48,000. So the general fund budget that the council approved earlier this year had an increase in net assets of $48,000. And so we're budgeting and expect that we will meet or exceed that at this point. Again, I'll give my disclaimer. Uncertain events may occur that may change that, and we're still working through that process, but that's where we are today in terms of where we estimate we will be at the end of the year. A couple other observations. One more on the general fund. So you'll remember that the citizens approved a new millage in prior years for the police department. And so this is the first year that the millage and that property tax revenue is recognized as revenue within the city's financial statements. We have not at this point, but our intent and plan is to set up a special revenue fund to account for that activity so that it's transparent what the funds are used for and how much funds are received each year. So we have not done that yet, but our plan is to have that in place before the end of the year. A few brief observations on the other funds. So the city's capital project fund has had limited activity in 2019, but currently, as of August 31st, has a balance between $870,000 and $880,000. Lastly, a few brief comments on the sewer fund. User fees are less than budget and less than prior year amounts. That's an item that we need to research and investigate. So we're working on that so we can have an answer for you and for the council. Repairs and maintenance expenses in the sewer fund are higher than budgeted amounts year to date, and that's strictly a function of the needed repairs and the activity of that fund. Our expectation, again, subject to change, but our expectation based on the 4-month projection is that the sewer fund will have an increase in net assets for this year. Mr. Buddy at the last meeting talked a good bit about the state of the sewer fund. While the sewer fund in the 2019 calendar year may be, and we expect to be, cash flow positive, primarily because of the new millage, the sewer fund still has significant amounts owed. It owes about $600,000 to the general fund, and that, not in theory, needs to be funded and repaid back. And there's a list, as Mr. Buddy mentioned, I don't know the exact number, but there's a list of undone repairs and maintenance that I know Tim's aware of on the sewer fund. Basically, a list of projects that need to be scheduled and funded for repairs to the sewer fund. So we've had a busy year, particularly a busy few weeks, trying to pull this information together for the public as well as for the council, and open the floor to any questions that the council members may have on the numbers provided through August 31st, or where we might project the amounts to be at the end of the year.
I'd like to make,
I'm gonna make a couple of comments, but I'll.
Yeah.
I have a couple of comments. One, thank you for your hard work this past 9.5 months, and for this report. But just for clarification, and you've done a hard close for August.
Correct.
Do you anticipate being able to do a hard close monthly from here on out?
A hard close every month is probably not likely, but I think we'll be able to provide the information you need in terms of the actual amounts through whichever month and the projected amounts through the end of the calendar year.
Well, that'll work.
So I think we'll be able to meet the needs that you're looking for.
Okay. And again, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, first of all, I'd like to thank Kerry and Craig at the beginning of the year for helping me put this budget together. We worked on it. It was pretty intense, and throughout the year, we stayed in constant contact with you guys, since you two helped spearhead, that committee, and that was awesome. Thank you very much for that. And throughout the year, Councilman Buddy, Councilman Asbill, and Councilman Chatelain and I have just, numerous discussions, because Councilman Buddy and I, made a deal that we would not have a deficit year, and we wanted to live up to that, and I think we did a fine job. I think next year we'll see a few more positive things when we move out of the current banking situation to the new banking situation. This year it was just tougher than I thought it was going to be, and I thought we'd move quicker. We didn't, but next year we'll roll into a situation where there'll be no banking fees, as a matter of fact, and we'll even get a higher percentage rate on our sweep, which will be another positive for us as well. Kerry and Craig, you guys budgeted a little high for health insurance, which was amazing, because we expected that increase. But I was able to get out and, with my staff, hustle really hard. We found a much better policy at a better rate, and we saw a substantial savings there as well. And I think, those couple of things, with all our hard work and being as tight as we possibly can be here, is not going to end us up in a deficit year. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Just to add, Tim, specifically on the health insurance, we did over budget that cost and expense, and I think that was just part of the learning curve of transitioning in. The other benefit to the city is that, looking at the number of employees who purchased or needed health insurance in 2018 as compared to 2019, it's a smaller number. So you have fewer people, fewer city employees needing health insurance, and effective July 1st with the new health insurance coverage, the actual rate is lower as well.
Right.
So that certainly has had a positive impact.
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you, guys. So I want to just say thank all y'all. It's been a year, and we still got 3 months to go, so, and it's going to be a challenge.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Can I get a motion to open for public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now open.
And everybody looks at me.
Oh, okay, well, I'll look the other way.
Goodness. Sorry. The knees are not good today. I just have one question to begin with. Can Mr. Turleon point out where in the budget are the attorney fees for the Civil Service Board? I could not find them.
Those items were not budgeted. That's something that will be budgeted in the budget amendment.
That's over $100,000.
Not
No, it's
civil
not that
service
much.
fees, no. No, our actuals year-to-date are somewhere between 20 to 30,000. I can find the number.
You paid Mr. Credo $39,000 already. You paid Anselmo $32,000 plus.
Mr. Anselmo is not a charge to the civil service, I don't believe.
Where would that
No,
be charged
That would be
to?
the,
That's charged to the police
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 department.
department,
I
Legal
couldn't find
fees.
it in the police department's budget either.
it's there.
Just for clarification, we didn't budget for unknown claims in the police department.
Well,
Litigation.
since this was a new deal, I figured it would be in here.
No,
Since it's
you
gonna
you
be
don't
the
change,
amendment.
no, you don't
No.
change your budget. The budget is what the budget was passed.
No, but it says year-to-date actual. Should not those numbers
Well,
be in here?
I'm not sure they were paid as of August 31.
Yeah, they were. This is all from the check register.
Yeah, wait, hold on, I can answer the questions. I know the civil service attorney fees were not budgeted, and our intent is to have those included in the budget amendment.
So they're not in this in this document.
The actual amounts are, yes.
But where? I could not find them.
am I reading right here, legal fees, page 31, under civil service tax?
That's it.
Hmm?
Yep. That's it.
It's page 31.
Page 31.
Under civil service, it says legal fees. And this is showing year-to-date of $16,495.72.
Right.
But they've paid out 39,000
As of when?
as of August 31st.
What, do you have reference to that? So,
I mean, I can,
I can give you the check numbers if you want. I'll go home and get the check numbers for you, and I'll send them
I
to
just
you.
asked
Yeah.
Ms.
you
Judy, I
simple
think
Yeah.
he's just asking a
if you
question.
can provide the
I
information,
can
Todd
provide you
can
the
look into
information.
it.
Wait.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we're not going to look into it at this meeting, but
wait.
it's a good question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know for a fact, but I'm sure some of the invoices paid in January, February 2019 were probably for 2018 services and charged to last year.
Okay.
We can verify
Well,
that.
I'll send Mr. Buddy the list of check numbers, and
Sure.
hopefully we'll get the information on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's
Okay?
easy.
For Mr.
But rest assured, it'll be properly accounted for.
I hope so.
Well, rest assured.
I hope so.
Is that it, Ms. Judy? Is that it?
That's the only question I have.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, anyone else like to come address the council for public hearing? No one coming else to address. Public hearing is now closed. Motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, so I have a motion to adjourn?
No, we need council discussion.
All right. Oh, you want a council
Okay.
discussion?
I thought we were, I thought that was part of the discussion. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Is it appropriate now for us to talk about our plan?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I was going to address.
Oh,
Okay.
I
so-
defer to
So
Councilman Will.
just a couple of
Councilwoman.
things. So, yes, there will be some 2019 budget amendments that will be coming forth. So the plan, if I'm not mistaken, and please don't quote me, some people have a tendency to just, like, what is the disclaimer, Todd? Maybe we should say that.
Things may change.
Things may change. The plan is to bring forth the 2019 budget amendments at the October meeting for first reading. Things may change. Okay. And adopt them in November. We're also going to work with the departments. We will ask if the chiefs can start working on y'all's 2020 budget. That also goes for all the other department heads, too, to present their 2020 budget. We would like to bring the 2020 budget up for introduction at the November meeting. We will also be scheduling between the November and the adoption in the December meeting, another special meeting regarding the 2020 budget so we can open it up to public hearing. We will get the dates so we can let everybody know the budget will be advertised, and the plan is to have the 2020 budget adopted in the year of 2019 so we can start with 2020. Again, things may change. I will say it again. Okay? Also, I I hate when we have to bring up Facebook at these meetings, because it's just, I don't know. So apparently there was a post that kind of spread like wildfire about, just shortly after Mr. Buddy did his presentation of the current state of the sewer system, alleging that this council had moved $100,000 from the sewer fund, almost calling us hypocrites, that here we are talking about the prior administration, yet we're doing it. First of all, that was a proposed budget. It was not adopted that way. And in the meeting, the minutes from the meeting, it clearly states right here, where we put that money back. We never took a dime from the sewer fund for the year 2019. And I don't believe that we'll be taking any for the 2020 year. So I just want to set the record straight. For some individuals, I wish they were here, but that's okay, that it was alleged that we took it. Yes, it was proposed that way, but the council never adopted it. We actually made that budget amendment at the meeting to put the money back. So I just want to just clarify that, because some people took it and spread it and called us a bunch of hypocrites, and that was never even done. So I will say this to everybody, if anybody has any questions about anything, whether it's the budget, whether it's streets, whether it's lights or anything, we are very accessible. We have emails, our cell phones are on the website. I mean, we may not answer the phone immediately, but we always call people back. We are here. And I just wish sometimes people would take the time, instead of just spreading this wildfire and making people get in an uproar, just pick up the phone and say, Councilman Asbill, Chatelaine, Buddy, I have a question. I know I saw this, can you fill me in? No, people just take it and run with it, and it's just false. It's completely false.
Fake news.
Fake news, I guess, yes. So I will ask, I will beg, and I will plead that if anybody has any questions about anything, please just reach out to us. We're here to answer those questions. So again, I will just state, this council never took any money from the sewer fund to balance our budget for 2019. It was proposed that way, yes, but it was never adopted that way. Thank you.
Councilman Ezra?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Anybody else? Move to adjourn.
Councilman Buddy?
Oh,
Generally, I'd like to thank the council and the mayor for putting together a difficult budget for 2019. And I'd like to give special thanks to the mayor for tightening his belt and being very judicious in spending money. He had a lot of needs, but he stayed within the budget. It was the right thing to do, and I want to compliment him on that. It was not easy being the mayor of Harahan for the last 9.5 months, 10 months. And I applaud your efforts, and I appreciate it very much, Tim.
Thank you. Okay, so you want to make a motion to?
Yeah, I realize that there is address the council. I'm sorry, we should have brought that first before we did our report, so. yeah,
Yep. So I'd like to make a motion to address the council.
Motion.
no, we haven't.
We didn't adjourn it, no ma'am.
We didn't adjourn.
There was a motion,
There
but
was a
no, there was a
we
motion,
said
but
no.
no second.
Okay. Would anyone like to address the council?
Move to address, move to open address the council.
No,
We didn't
No,
vote.
we just did
addressed the
public
budget.
hearing about the budget, and we probably should have addressed before we gave our reports.
But we're gonna make sure we get it, because we don't want to get any
Oh,
letters
yes.
from Jeff Landry's
So-
office.
Move to open address the council.
All right,
Second,
so second by Councilman Wheeler, all in favor?
yeah.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Address the council is now open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come to the podium and state your name and address. No one coming forward to the podium to address the council would, can I get a motion to close address the council?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Chatelain, all in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Address the council is now closed. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Buddy, all in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. We are now adjourned.
Yeah.